Maya Bennett walked into Cole Design Group with a secret buried in her past, a lie that destroyed her career and nearly broke her spirit. Her new boss, Ethan Cole, was a man who built walls higher than his Chicago skyscraper, a CEO who framed one rule above all others: love and work never mix. But when their late-night meetings turned into something neither could deny, someone was watching, someone who wanted to see them both burn. One stolen kiss, one leaked photo, one brother's revenge that threatened to destroy everything they were building. What Maya didn't know was that Ethan would have to choose between the empire he built and the woman who taught him how to feel again. And what Ethan didn't know? That choice would cost him everything he thought mattered. Subscribe and comment below if you've ever had to choose between your head and your heart, because this story is about to prove that sometimes the biggest risk leads to the greatest reward. Maya stood outside the tall glass building and took a deep breath. The morning sun made the windows shine like mirrors. Her heart hammered in her chest. This was it, her fresh start. Cole Design Group occupied 15 floors in downtown Chicago. The lobby gleamed with white marble and chrome. Professional people in sharp suits walked past, carrying coffee cups and leather briefcases. Maya smoothed down her navy dress. Her hands trembled slightly. "You can do this," she told herself. "You deserve to be here." The elevator ride to the 12th floor felt like forever. Maya watched the numbers climb. 12 floors between her and a new beginning. 12 floors between her old life and this chance to prove herself again. The HR office smelled like fresh paint and printer ink. A woman with red glasses and a kind smile greeted her. "Maya Bennett, welcome to Cole Design Group. I'm Patricia." "Thank you." Maya shook her hand. "I'm excited to be here." Patricia guided her through stacks of paperwork, employee handbook, benefits forms, tax documents. Then she pulled out a laminated sheet and slid it across the desk. "This is our workplace conduct policy. Mr. Cole takes it very seriously." Maya's eyes scanned the page. Most of it was standard: confidentiality, respect, professionalism. But one section was highlighted in bold: no romantic relationships between employees at different levels of authority. Violations subject to immediate termination. A cold feeling settled in Maya's stomach. "That's pretty strict," she said carefully. Patricia nodded. "Mr. Cole has his reasons. He built this company on trust and clear boundaries. Romance complicates loyalty. That's what he always says." Maya signed the form. Her signature looked small on the big white page. "Any questions?" Patricia asked. "When do I meet him?" "Mr. Cole." "Right now, actually." Patricia stood up. "Follow me." They walked down a long hallway lined with framed architectural designs. The office had an open floor plan. People worked at clean desks with big computer screens. Some looked up as Maya passed. Curious eyes, assessing eyes. Patricia stopped at a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Lake Michigan sparkled in the distance. A man sat behind a massive desk, typing on his laptop. He didn't look up right away. "Mr. Cole, your new assistant is here." "Thank you, Patricia." His voice was low and controlled, professional, almost cold. He stood up and Maya's breath caught for just a second. Ethan Cole was tall, maybe 6'2". He wore a charcoal suit that fit perfectly. Dark hair, neat and short. Strong jawline, blue eyes that looked right through you. He was handsome, sure, but that wasn't what struck her. It was the way he held himself, like every movement was calculated, like he never did anything by accident. "Maya Bennett." He extended his hand. "Mr. Cole." She shook it. His grip was firm and brief. "Have a seat." Maya sat in the leather chair across from his desk. She folded her hands in her lap to stop them from shaking. Ethan pulled out a file. "Your resume is impressive. 3 years at Hartman Associates. Stellar recommendations from your references. Degree in communications with honors." He looked up. "Though I notice you left your previous position rather suddenly." Maya's throat went dry. Here it was. The question she'd been dreading. "There were circumstances that made it necessary for me to leave." "Circumstances?" He didn't blink. "Personal reasons." She met his gaze. She wouldn't lie, but she wouldn't offer more than necessary either. "Nothing that affects my ability to do excellent work for you." Ethan studied her for a long moment. Then he closed the file. "I hired you because you're qualified. I expect efficiency, discretion, and professionalism. I don't tolerate gossip or drama. Are we clear?" "Crystal clear." "Good." He pulled out a stack of folders. "I have a presentation in 2 hours. I need these reports summarized. Key points only, no more than 3 bullets each. Can you handle that?" Absolutely. Coffee's in the break room. Your desk is right outside my office. Any questions? No, sir. Then let's get to work. Maya found her new desk. It was positioned perfectly to see everyone coming and going, but also to have a clear view into Ethan's office through the glass walls. She set down her purse and got to work on the reports. The task was straightforward, but Ethan's standards were high. She could feel him watching her through the glass as she typed. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. She finished the first report in 15 minutes, then the second, then the third. She was starting the fourth when someone placed a coffee cup on her desk. Fresh meat. Maya looked up. A woman about her age stood there, blonde hair in a perfect ponytail, designer heels, expensive watch. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Excuse me? That's what they call new assistants around here, fresh meat. I'm Danielle, by the way. I work in marketing. Maya. She tried to smile back. Nice to meet you. Word of advice? Danielle leaned in like she was sharing a secret. Don't get too comfortable. Mr. Cole goes through assistants like tissues. He's brilliant, sure, but he's impossible to please. 3 months, that's the average. Then he finds some tiny mistake and boom, you're gone. Maya's stomach tightened. I'll keep that in mind. Also, don't even think about flirting. That man is made of ice. Trust me, women have tried. He doesn't mix business with pleasure. Ever. Good thing I'm here to work, not flirt. Danielle's smile turned sharp. Sure, honey. That's what they all say. She walked away, heels clicking on the polished floor. Maya took a sip of the coffee. It was cold. She threw it in the trash and got back to work. By noon, she'd finished all the reports. She printed them and arranged them in a neat folder. Then she knocked on Ethan's door. Come in. She stepped inside. The summaries you requested. He took the folder without looking at her. His eyes scanned the first page, then the second. His expression gave nothing away. These are acceptable. Acceptable, not good, not excellent, acceptable. I'll revise them if you need. No need, they're fine. He checked his watch. The presentation is in 30 minutes. I'll need you there to take notes. Of course. And Maya, he looked up at her. Be careful with that coffee. Documents are expensive to replace. Her cheeks burned. She followed his gaze to a tiny coffee ring on the corner of one report, so faint she hadn't even noticed it. I'm sorry. I'll reprint it immediately. Already done. He held up a fresh copy. But next time pay attention to details. In this business, details matter. Yes, sir. She left his office feeling 2 inches tall. The presentation was in the main conference room. Maya sat in the back corner with her laptop, fingers ready on the keyboard. Ethan stood at the front, commanding the room with quiet confidence. 15 people sat around the table, executives, designers, clients in expensive suits. He spoke about urban design, about reimagining spaces, about making buildings feel human. His voice never wavered. He moved through slides like he'd memorized every word. Maya found herself leaning forward, actually interested, forgetting to take notes for a moment. Miss Bennett. Her head snapped up. Everyone was looking at her. The quarterly projections, Ethan said calmly. Pull them up, please. Her hands fumbled on the keyboard. She'd saved the file. She knew she had. But panic made her clumsy. 5 seconds passed. 10. The room felt hot. Take your time, Ethan said. Was that kindness in his voice? Or impatience? She found the file, pulled it up, projected it on the screen. Thank you. He continued without missing a beat, turning the near disaster into nothing. The presentation ended with handshakes and pleased smiles. The clients loved it. Maya packed up her laptop, relieved it was over. Good recovery, Ethan said quietly as everyone filed out. She looked up, surprised. I almost messed up your presentation. Almost, but you didn't. He picked up his briefcase. Everyone freezes their first week. You handled it. It was the closest thing to a compliment she'd gotten from him all day. Maya felt something warm bloom in her chest. Thank you, Mr. Cole. Ethan. He paused at the door. When it's just us, you can call me Ethan. Then he was gone, leaving her standing there, wondering what just happened. That evening, Maya rode the train home to her small apartment in Pilsen. Her roommate Renee was already there, heating up leftover pizza in the kitchen. How was the first day? Renee called out. Did you knock 'em dead? Maya dropped onto the couch. I almost knocked everything dead, including my career. That bad? I don't know. My boss is... Maya searched for the right word. Intense. Like scary intense. But also kind of fair. I can't tell if he hates me, or if that's just his face. Renee handed her a slice of pizza. What's he look like? Does it matter? Girl, of course it matters. Office eye candy makes the day go faster. Maya rolled her eyes. He's professional. That's what matters. So he's hot. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Renee grinned. Is he single? There's a huge policy against office relationships. It's literally on the wall, Renee, in a frame. Ooh, a rule breaker. Even better. I'm not breaking anything. I need this job. Maya took a bite of pizza. Besides, he's not interested. The man is made of ice. Ice melts, honey. Not this ice. Maya thought about those cold blue eyes, that controlled voice, the way he held himself like armor. Trust me, this is a man who doesn't let anyone in. But later that night, lying in bed, she thought about the way he'd said good recovery, the way he'd told her to call him Ethan. Small things, tiny cracks in the ice. She pushed the thoughts away. She couldn't afford to think like that. Not after everything that happened at her last job. Not when she'd barely survived the lies and accusations that destroyed her reputation. This time would be different. This time, she'd keep her head down, do perfect work, and never give anyone a reason to question her professionalism. Never again. The next morning started better. Maya arrived early with fresh coffee and a clear head. She organized Ethan's schedule, answered emails, and prepared documents for his meetings. By 10 a.m., she felt like she was actually getting the hang of things. Then Ethan called her into his office. I need you to review these contracts. Mark any inconsistencies. She took the stack of papers. By when? End of day. That was 12 contracts in 8 hours. Maya swallowed hard. I'll get it done. I know you will. She worked through lunch, barely looking up from her desk. Her eyes started to blur around hour 5, but she pushed through, checking every clause, every term, every detail. By 6 p.m., she'd marked up all 12 contracts with notes and questions. She knocked on Ethan's door. He was still at his desk, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up to his elbows. He looked tired but focused. The contracts, she said, setting them down. He picked up the first one. Read her notes. His eyebrows lifted slightly. You caught the liability clause discrepancy. It was buried, but yes. 3 lawyers missed that last week. He looked at her with something that might have been respect. Well done. Maya felt that warm bloom in her chest again. Pride. Validation. Thank you. Go home. It's late. You're still here. I'm always here. He turned back to his computer. But you shouldn't be. You did good work today, Maya. Rest. She left feeling lighter than she had since she arrived. Maybe this would work out. Maybe she really could start over. The next day, the whispers started. Maya noticed them in the break room. 2 women from accounting went quiet when she walked in. In the hallway, a group of guys stopped talking and stared. At lunch, Danielle sat down across from her in the cafeteria with that same sharp smile. So, Danielle said, you and Mr. Cole were here pretty late last night. We were working. Sure, working. Danielle took a bite of her salad. That's what Chelsea said too, before she got fired. Maya's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. Who's Chelsea? His last assistant. Lasted 4 months. Record time. Started getting too comfortable, too friendly. Next thing you know, she's gone. I'm just doing my job, Danielle. Of course you are. Danielle stood up, collecting her tray. Just remember, everyone's watching, and Mr. Cole doesn't like people talking about him. Maya lost her appetite. She threw away her half-eaten sandwich and went back to her desk. That afternoon, Ethan asked her to stay late again. They were preparing for a client pitch, a huge project that could make or break the quarter. They worked side by side, revising presentations, running numbers, adjusting designs. Around 8 p.m., Ethan leaned back in his chair and rubbed his eyes. We need a break. I'm fine. I'm not. He stood up and walked to the window. Lake Michigan stretched out in the darkness, dotted with boat lights. 5 minutes. Then we finish this. Maya joined him at the window. The city looked beautiful at night, peaceful. Do you ever leave this office? She asked before she could stop herself. Not often. That's sad. He glanced at her. Is it? Yeah. All this work, all this success. What's the point if you never enjoy it? The work is the point. He crossed his arms. Everything else is just distraction. Not everything. In my experience? Yes, everything. His voice was firm, but something flickered in his eyes. Something old and hurt. They stood there in silence, not uncomfortable, just quiet. Then Ethan's mouth twitched, almost a smile. You're persistent, you know that? Is that a complaint? An observation? He turned back to his desk. Come on, let's finish this. But as Maya followed him, she caught him looking at her again. Quick, like he didn't mean to, like he was surprised at himself. The ice was definitely cracking. Friday morning, Maya found the email. It was in her work inbox, sent from a generic address she didn't recognize. No subject line, just one sentence. Not again, right? You never learn. Her hands started shaking. She read it 3 times, 4 times. The words blurred together. Not again. Someone knew. Someone here knew about Hartman Associates, about the accusations, about everything she'd run from. Maya's breath came short. The office walls felt like they were closing in. She stood up too fast, bumping her desk. Her coffee cup wobbled but didn't spill. You okay? She turned. Ethan stood in his doorway, concern creasing his forehead. I'm fine. You don't look fine. Just tired. I didn't sleep well. He studied her face. She forced herself to meet his eyes, to not look away, to not look guilty even though she had nothing to be guilty about. Take a break, he said finally. Go get some air. I have work. It can wait. Go. Maya grabbed her phone and hurried to the elevator. She rode down to the lobby and stepped out into the cool Chicago morning. She walked without direction, just moved, trying to outrun the panic rising in her chest. Who sent that email? Who knew? And what did they want? Her phone buzzed. A text from Renee. Lunch today? You sound stressed? Maya typed back. Can't. Too much work. Rain check? She couldn't tell Renee. Not yet. She couldn't tell anyone. If word got out that she was the Maya Bennett from the Hartman scandal, she'd be done. Again. Fired. Blacklisted. Destroyed. She'd been accused of having an affair with her married boss at Hartman Associates. The accusation was a lie, a cruel, calculated lie spread by a jealous co-worker. But lies don't care about truth. They spread like fire. By the time Maya proved her innocence, her reputation was ashes. She'd left before they could fire her, left before the whispers became screams. And now someone here knew. Maya leaned against a building and closed her eyes. She wanted to cry. She wanted to quit. She wanted to disappear. But she'd worked too hard to run again. She took a deep breath, then another. She straightened her shoulders and walked back to the office. The rest of the day passed in a fog. Maya worked mechanically, checking her email every few minutes. No more messages, just that one sentence hanging over her like a threat. Around 4 p.m., Ethan called her into his office. Sit down. She sat, her heart hammered. Something's wrong, he said. It wasn't a question. I'm fine. Maya. He leaned forward. I've been watching you all day. You're distracted, nervous. That's not like you. I told you I'm just tired. Is someone bothering you? The question hit her like cold water. She opened her mouth, closed it. How did he know? If someone in this office is making you uncomfortable, Ethan continued, his voice low and serious, I need to know. Now. Maya wanted to tell him. God, she wanted to tell him everything. But fear locked the words in her throat. It's nothing I can't handle. That's not what I asked. They stared at each other. His blue eyes were intense, searching, like he could pull the truth out of her just by looking. I appreciate your concern, Maya said carefully, but I promise I'm okay. Ethan sat back. He didn't look convinced. My door is always open. Remember that. I will. As she stood to leave, he spoke again. Maya, she turned. You're a good assistant. Better than good. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Something cracked inside her chest. The kindness in his voice, the sincerity. It was almost too much. Thank you, she whispered. She made it back to her desk before the tears came. Just a few. Quick. She wiped them away before anyone could see. But Ethan saw. Through his glass office wall, he watched her wipe her eyes. His jaw tightened. His hands curled into fists on his desk. Someone was hurting her, and he was going to find out who. That evening, Maya stayed late to finish a report. Most of the office had emptied out. The lights were dim. Her desk lamp made a small circle of warmth in the darkness. She was so focused on her computer that she didn't hear him approach. Still here? Maya jumped. Ethan stood beside her desk, jacket off, looking as tired as she felt. Almost done. You work too hard, says the man who never goes home. Touché. He smiled, actually smiled. It transformed his whole face, made him look younger, softer, human. Maya forgot to breathe for a second. I'm ordering dinner, Ethan said. Ty okay? You don't have to. I'm hungry. You're hungry, and neither of us is leaving for another hour. Thai or Italian? Thai. Good choice. They ate in his office, containers spread across his desk, shoes kicked off, ties loosened. It felt strange, informal, like they were actual people instead of boss and assistant. Tell me something. Ethan said, twirling noodles on his fork. Why design? What do you mean? You studied communications. You could work anywhere. Marketing, PR, media. Why a design firm? Maya thought about it. I like the idea of building things that last. Words are great, but they fade. Buildings stay, they become part of people's lives. That's a good answer. What about you? Why design? Control. He said it simply, like it was obvious. When you design something, you control every detail, every line, every angle, every choice. Nothing is random, nothing is left to chance. That sounds exhausting. It is. He looked at her. But it's safer than the alternative, which is chaos, unpredictability, trusting things you can't control. Maya set down her fork. You can't control everything, Ethan. I can try. But at what cost? He didn't answer, just looked at her with those blue eyes, and she saw something in them she hadn't seen before. Loneliness. Deep, aching loneliness. I should get back to work, Maya said softly. Yeah. He cleared his throat. Me too. But neither of them moved. They sat there in the quiet office, surrounded by takeout containers and papers, and something shifted between them. Something neither of them was ready to name. Finally, Ethan stood. Thank you for staying late. Part of the job. Still, I appreciate it. He paused at the door. And Maya, if you ever need to talk about anything, and I mean anything, I'm here. I know. After he left, Maya sat alone at his desk, staring at the city lights. Her phone buzzed. Another email. Her heart stopped. But it wasn't the anonymous sender. It was from HR, marked urgent. Reminder. All employees must complete updated harassment training by Monday. Failure to comply will result in disciplinary action. She deleted it and packed up her things. As she rode the elevator down, she thought about Ethan's words. I'm here. Could she trust him? Could she tell him the truth about her past? Or would he look at her differently? Would he believe the lies like everyone else had? Maya stepped out into the Chicago night. The answer felt impossibly far away. But one thing was certain. The ice was melting, and that scared her more than any anonymous email ever could. Saturday morning, Maya woke to 17 missed calls. She grabbed her phone, heart racing. Most were from her friend Renee. 2 were from numbers she didn't recognize, and 1 was from the office. She called Renee first. Finally, Renee answered on the first ring. Girl, you need to check your Instagram. Now. What? Why? Just look. Call me back. Maya opened Instagram with shaking hands. Her notifications were flooded. Comments, tags, messages from people she hadn't talked to in years. Then she saw it. Someone had posted a photo of her and Ethan from last night. They were standing by the window in his office, both holding takeout containers, both smiling. The angle made them look close. Too close. Intimate. The caption read, CEO and his assistant working late again. Sure, Jan. Maya's stomach dropped. The post had been shared hundreds of times. Comments piled up underneath. Here we go again. Didn't she learn her lesson? Same girl, different boss, classic. Her hands trembled so badly she almost dropped the phone. Someone had connected her to the Hartman scandal. Someone had dug up her past and put it on display for everyone to see. The room spun. She couldn't breathe. Her phone rang. An unknown number. She answered without thinking. Maya Bennett? A woman's voice, professional and cold. Yes? This is Jennifer from HR at Cole Design Group. We need you to come in Monday morning. 8 a.m. sharp. There's been a complaint. A complaint about what? We'll discuss it Monday. Please don't be late. Click. Maya sat on her bed, phone still pressed to her ear, listening to dead air. Everything she'd worked for, gone. Again. Because of a lie. Because someone wanted to destroy her. She called Ethan. It rang 4 times before going to voicemail. Hi, this is Ethan Cole. Leave a message. It's Maya. Call me back, please. It's urgent. She waited. 1 hour. 2 hours. Nothing. By Sunday afternoon, she'd convinced herself he'd already heard, already believed the rumors, already decided she wasn't worth defending. Renee came over with wine and pizza and righteous anger. This is garbage, Renee said, pacing Maya's tiny living room. You weren't doing anything wrong. Doesn't matter, it looks wrong, that's all people care about. So what? You gonna let them win? Again? Maya pulled her knees to her chest. What choice do I have? HR called. I'm probably getting fired Monday. Not if you fight back. I can't fight rumors, Renee. I tried that at Hartman. You know what happened. Renee sat down beside her. This Ethan guy, do you trust him? Maya thought about Thursday night, the takeout, the conversation, the way he'd looked at her like she mattered. I don't know. she whispered. I want to, but wanting isn't the same as knowing. Then find out before they make the decision for you. Monday morning arrived like a death sentence. Maya got dressed in her most professional outfit. Black slacks, white blouse, hair pulled back tight. Armor. The train ride downtown felt endless. Every person who looked at her phone made Maya's heart race. Were they looking at the picture? Were they judging her? She arrived at the office at 7:45. The lobby was quiet. Early. She rode the elevator up, each floor making her stomach sink lower. The 12th floor was chaos. People stood in clusters, whispering. Eyes followed her as she walked to her desk. Someone laughed. Someone else shushed them. Danielle walked past with a sympathetic smile that felt like a knife. HR's waiting for you. Maya set down her purse. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Ethan's office was dark. He wasn't here yet. She knocked on Jennifer's door at exactly 8 a.m. Come in. Jennifer sat behind her desk, a printed copy of the Instagram post in front of her. Mr. Jenkins, the senior board member, sat in the corner. His weathered face was unreadable. Miss Bennett, please sit. Maya sat. The chair felt too small. I'm sure you've seen this photo circulating online, Jennifer said, sliding the printout toward her. We've received complaints from several employees about inappropriate conduct. I wasn't doing anything inappropriate. We were working, eating dinner, that's all. The perception of impropriety is just as damaging as impropriety itself. So I'm being punished for perception, for what people assume. You're being investigated, there's a difference. Jennifer folded her hands. Until this matter is resolved, you're suspended with pay, effective immediately. The words hit like a punch. Suspended. It's standard procedure. For what? Eating takeout? Standing near my boss? Being in a photo I didn't even know was being taken? For violating the appearance of professionalism, Mr. Jenkins said quietly. His voice was rough like old leather. Right or wrong, Miss Bennett, you've become a distraction. Distractions hurt business. Maya stood up. Her chair scraped against the floor. I've done nothing wrong. That may be true, Jennifer said, but until we complete our investigation, you cannot work here. Please collect your personal items and leave the building. Where's Ethan? Does he know about this? Mr. Cole has been informed. Then why isn't he here defending me? Neither of them answered. Maya walked out on legs that didn't feel like her own. She packed up her desk, a coffee mug, a framed photo of her and Renee, a small, succulent plant that was already dying. People watched. Some pretended not to. Others didn't bother hiding their stares. She rode the elevator down alone. The doors closed on her reflection. A black woman holding a cardboard box, trying not to cry. The lobby was full now. Morning rush. People coming to work while she was leaving. Outside, rain had started to fall. Of course it had. Maya stood under the building's overhang, box in her arms, nowhere to go. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Told you. Rules always win. She almost threw her phone. Almost screamed. But she just stood there letting the rain hit her shoes, letting the cold seep in. Maya. She turned. Ethan stood behind her, drenched from the rain, still wearing his jacket from the weekend. He looked like he'd been running. What are you doing here? Her voice came out flat, defeated. Looking for you. I just heard about the suspension. I came straight from where? Where were you this weekend when I called? When I needed you? He flinched. I was dealing with my brother. It's complicated. I should have called back. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't help me. I'm suspended. Because someone took a photo of us eating dinner. Because people think... Her voice broke. They think I'm doing what I was accused of at my last job. They think I'm some kind of... Stop! He stepped closer. Rain dripped from his hair. I know what happened at Hartman Associates. Maya's world tilted. What? I know about the accusations. The affair that never happened. The co-worker who lied. He looked right at her. I knew before I hired you. Then why? Because I did my research. Real research. I talked to people who actually knew you. People who told me the truth. His jaw tightened. I knew you were innocent. That's why I hired you. Tears burned her eyes. If you knew, then why aren't you up there fighting for me? I am fighting for you. I spent the last hour arguing with the board, but they're scared. The photo went viral in our industry. Clients are asking questions. The board won't budge until the investigation is complete. So I'm just, what? Supposed to sit at home while my reputation gets destroyed again? No. Ethan took the box from her hands and set it down. You're supposed to let me fix this. You can't fix what people think. Maybe not. But I can make sure they think it while looking at the facts. Rain fell harder. They stood close enough that Maya could see drops caught in his eyelashes. "Why do you care?" she asked quietly. "I'm just your assistant." "No." His voice was rough. "You're not." The words hung between them, heavy, true. "Ethan, I need to tell you something." He ran a hand through his wet hair. "My brother, Oliver, he's the one who's been sending those emails, the photo, all of it." Maya's blood went cold. "Your brother. He worked with Hartman Associates years ago. He remembered your scandal. When he found out you were working for me, he decided to—" Ethan's fists clenched. "He wanted to hurt me. You got caught in the crossfire. Why would he want to hurt you? Old wounds, family drama. It doesn't matter right now." He looked at her with something close to desperation. "What matters is that I'm going to fix this. I'm going to find out who he paid to take that photo. I'm going to prove this whole thing is a setup, and I'm going to make sure you get your job back with a full apology. And if you can't, then I'll quit." Maya stared at him. "What? If they fire you for this, I'm done. I'm not leading a company that punishes people for other people's lies. You can't quit. Cole Design is your life." "No." He stepped even closer, close enough that she could feel warmth coming off him despite the rain. "It was my life. Past tense. Things change." "Ethan." She didn't know what to say. This man, this controlled, disciplined, ice-cold CEO, was willing to throw away everything for her. "Go home," he said gently. "Rest. Let me handle this. I don't want to be handled. I want to fight. Then fight. But not alone. Not this time." He picked up her box and walked her to the curb, hailed a cab, paid the driver before she could protest. As the cab pulled away, Maya looked back. Ethan stood in the rain, watching her go, and she realized something that terrified her. She was falling for him, and this time it might actually be real. 3 days passed like 3 years. Maya stayed home in her apartment, watching rain hit the windows, checking her phone every 5 minutes. Renee brought her food, tried to make her laugh, failed. Ethan texted her every day. Day 1, board meeting today. Presented evidence of Oliver's involvement. They're reviewing it. Day 2, tracked down the photographer. He confessed Oliver paid him, getting a sworn statement. Day 3, almost there. Don't lose hope, but hope felt like a luxury Maya couldn't afford. On the 4th day, her phone rang. Jennifer from HR. "Miss Bennett, can you come in tomorrow? 10 a.m.? Am I fired?" A pause. "Just come in, please." Maya hung up and immediately called Ethan. He answered on the first ring. "Did HR call you?" she asked. "Yes." "What does it mean?" "It means they've finished their investigation." His voice was careful, controlled. "It means tomorrow we find out if justice actually exists." "I'm scared." "Me too." She'd never heard him admit fear before. It made him sound human, vulnerable. "Ethan." "Yeah? Thank you for believing me. Always." The word was soft, a promise. Tuesday morning, Maya wore the same black slacks and white blouse, the same armor. Renee insisted on coming with her for moral support, waiting in a nearby cafe. The office was different this time, quieter. People looked at her but didn't whisper, didn't laugh. Some even nodded hello. Danielle stopped her in the hallway. "Hey, for what it's worth, I'm sorry I was such a jerk. I heard what really happened." Maya just nodded. She didn't have energy for forgiveness yet. Jennifer's office door was open. Inside sat Jennifer, Mr. Jenkins, and Ethan. They all stood when she entered. "Miss Bennett," Mr. Jenkins said. "Please, sit down." Maya sat, her heart hammered so hard she could hear it in her ears. "We've completed our investigation," Jennifer began. "After reviewing evidence provided by Mr. Cole, including testimony from the photographer and records of payments from Oliver Cole's accounts, we've determined that you were the victim of a targeted harassment campaign." Maya's breath caught. "So I'm cleared of any wrongdoing?" "Completely." Jennifer slid a paper across the desk. "We're offering you reinstatement, a formal apology, and compensation for the days you were suspended." "The board voted unanimously," Mr. Jenkins added. His weathered face almost smiled. "You're a valuable employee, Miss Bennett. We should have investigated properly before acting. That's on us." Maya looked at Ethan. He was watching her with something like relief in his eyes. "What about Oliver?" she asked. "My brother will no longer be welcome at any company events or on these premises," Ethan said quietly. "I've also filed a restraining order. He won't bother you again." "I don't understand." Maya's voice shook. "Why would he do this? Why target me?" Ethan and Mr. Jenkins exchanged a look. "My brother and I have history," Ethan said carefully. Years ago, our father left the company to me, not him. Oliver felt betrayed. He spent the last 5 years trying to hurt me however he can. When he saw you working here, saw us getting close, he thought he'd found the perfect weapon. So this was never about me. No, it was about me. You just got caught in the blast radius. Ethan's jaw tightened. I'm sorry. I should have protected you better. You protected me when it mattered. Maya turned to Jennifer. When can I start back? Today, if you'd like, though we'd understand if you need time. Maya stood up. I've had enough time. I want to work. Mr. Jenkins actually smiled this time. That's the spirit. Welcome back, Miss Bennett. She left the office with her head held high. As she walked through the halls, people clapped. Someone whistled. Danielle gave her a thumbs up. Ethan caught up to her at her desk. That was brave, he said, coming back. Not running, again. He paused. Listen, I know things have been complicated, but I need to ask you something. Maya's heart started racing again for a completely different reason. This weekend the company has a retreat. Team building, strategy sessions, that sort of thing. It's at my family's lake house. I'd like you to come. As your assistant? He struggled with the word, as someone I trust. It wasn't a declaration of love. It wasn't even a confession of feelings, but it was honest. Real. Okay, Maya said. I'll come. Okay? He smiled. That rare, genuine smile that transformed his whole face. Good. He walked back to his office, and Maya sank into her desk chair. She was back, she was cleared, she was safe. So why did she still feel like everything was about to change? The rest of the week passed in a blur of work and careful professionalism. Maya and Ethan kept appropriate distance. No late dinners, no long conversations, but the looks they exchanged across the office said everything words couldn't. Friday afternoon, Ethan sent an email to the whole company. Mandatory corporate retreat this weekend. Details below. Transportation provided. See you there. EC. Mandatory, Renee said when Maya told her. That's romantic. It's professional. Sure, honey, keep telling yourself that. Saturday morning, Maya rode in a company van with 10 other employees. The drive took 2 hours north, leaving Chicago's skyline behind for rolling hills and thick forests. The lake house wasn't a house, it was a mansion. 3 stories of glass and wood, perched on a cliff overlooking a massive private lake. Mountains ringed the horizon. It looked like something from a magazine. Holy crap, someone whispered behind Maya. Cole family money, Danielle said knowingly. Old money. Ethan stood on the front steps, greeting people as they arrived. When Maya stepped out of the van, his eyes found hers immediately. You made it. Did I have a choice? It was mandatory. You always have a choice. The weekend was supposed to be about team building. They played trust exercises and problem-solving games, had strategy sessions about upcoming projects, ate catered meals on the huge back deck overlooking the water. But Maya couldn't stop watching Ethan. The way he moved through the crowd, the way he listened when people talked, the way he kept glancing at her when he thought no one was looking. Saturday evening after dinner, people scattered, some playing cards, some walking by the lake, some already heading to bed. Maya stood on the deck alone, watching the sunset paint the water gold and pink. The air smelled like pine and clean water. Beautiful, isn't it? She didn't turn. She knew his voice by now. It's perfect. Ethan came to stand beside her, close but not touching. My grandfather built this place, said everyone needs somewhere they can breathe. Do you come here often? Not anymore, too many memories. Good ones? Some. He leaned against the railing. Before everything fell apart with Oliver, we used to come here every summer. Swim all day, build bonfires at night. We were close once. Hard to believe now. Maya wanted to touch his hand, to offer comfort, but she kept her distance. What happened? She asked gently. Between you two? Same thing that always happens. Money, power, family expectations. He sighed. Our father had a stroke 5 years ago. Before he died, he left me the company. Oliver thought he deserved it more. Maybe he was right. Maybe I wasn't ready. You've built something incredible. At what cost? He looked at her. I lost my brother. I lost the ability to trust anyone. I turned into someone who measures life in profits and productivity instead of moments and people. You're more than that, am I? His voice was raw. Because from where I'm standing, I'm just a guy who built walls so high he can't remember how to climb down. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Storm clouds gathered over the mountains. Then maybe, Maya said softly, you need someone to meet you at the top. He turned to her fully. The fading light caught his face, making his eyes impossibly blue. Is that an offer? Before she could answer, the sky opened up. Rain poured down in sheets. People shrieked and ran inside, laughing. Maya and Ethan stood there getting soaked, neither moving. "We should go in," he said. "Probably." But neither of them moved. They just stood there in the rain, looking at each other. And Maya knew, she absolutely knew, that everything was about to change. "Come on." Ethan took her hand. Actually took her hand. His palm was warm and rough. "I want to show you something." He led her around the house to a boathouse by the water. Inside, it was dry and smelled like old wood and canvas. Candles sat on shelves. Ethan lit a few, creating soft golden light. "My hiding place," he said. "When I was a kid, when things got too loud, I'd come here." They sat on an old bench, dripping wet, surrounded by boats covered in tarps and life jackets hanging on walls. "Thank you," Maya said, "for this week, for believing me, for fighting for me. I told you, I always will." "Why?" The question hung between them, heavy, important. "Because," Ethan said slowly, like he was figuring it out as he spoke, "you're the first person in 5 years who made me want to try, to trust, to feel something other than control." "Ethan, I know it's complicated. I know the optics are terrible. I know there are 100 reasons why this is a bad idea." He turned to her. "But I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of letting old wounds run my life. I'm tired of pretending I don't care about you when I—" He stopped, took a breath. "When I care about you more than I've cared about anyone in a very long time." Maya's eyes burned, not from tears, from something bigger, something that felt like hope. "I care about you too," she whispered. "I tried not to. I swore I wouldn't. But I do. So what do we do?" "I don't know. But maybe we figure it out together?" Ethan reached up and tucked a wet strand of hair behind her ear. His fingers lingered on her cheek. "Together," he repeated. "I like the sound of that." Outside, rain hammered the boathouse roof. Thunder rolled, the candles flickered, and slowly, carefully, like he was making the most important decision of his life, Ethan leaned in and kissed her. It was soft, gentle, a question and an answer all at once. Maya kissed him back, and the world disappeared. There was no company policy, no office gossip, no past scandals. Just this moment, just them. When they pulled apart, both were breathing hard. "That was—" Maya started. "A terrible idea," Ethan finished. "The worst. Absolutely reckless, completely unprofessional." They looked at each other and started laughing. Real laughter, the kind that comes from relief and joy and terror, all mixed together. "We're in so much trouble," Maya said. "So much trouble." Ethan pulled her close, tucking her against his chest. "Worth it, though." She listened to his heartbeat, strong and steady. "Yeah, worth it." They stayed in the boathouse until the storm passed, talking about everything and nothing, about their fears and hopes, about what came next. Neither of them knew that outside, hidden in the trees, a camera had captured everything. Neither of them knew that by morning that kiss would be all over the internet. Neither of them knew that the real fight was just beginning. But for that one moment in the candlelight and rain, they were just two people who'd found something real in the middle of all the chaos. And that was enough. Maya woke to banging on her door. "Maya, open up!" She sat up, confused. Sunlight poured through the lake house guest room windows. It was Sunday morning, the retreat's last day. More banging. "Maya, seriously!" She opened the door. Danielle stood there, phone in hand, face pale. "You need to see this." Maya took the phone. Her stomach dropped. The photo was everywhere. Her and Ethan in the boathouse, kissing in candlelight. The angle made it look staged, romantic, deliberate. The caption read, "CEO violates his own policy, breaking his no-office romance rule." Below the photo, hundreds of comments. "He fired people for less. Rules for thee, but not for me, I guess. She really does have a type. Bosses. Here we go again with this girl." Maya's hands started shaking. "How did this—" "It's everywhere. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, industry blogs." Danielle's voice was gentle but urgent. "HR is calling an emergency meeting. They want you downstairs. Now." Maya threw on clothes, jeans, a sweater, anything she could find. Her mind raced. Who took that photo? Who would do this? But she already knew the answer. Oliver. The main room downstairs was packed. Every employee from the retreat stood in clusters, phones out, whispering. When Maya walked in, conversations stopped. Eyes turned. "Mr." Jenkins stood at the front, face like stone. Jennifer from HR stood beside him, arms crossed. And Ethan. Ethan stood off to the side, jaw clenched, fists tight at his sides. "Miss Bennett," Mr. Jenkins said. Thank you for joining us. Maya's legs felt like water, but she walked forward, held her head up. She'd done nothing wrong. I'm sure you've all seen the photo, Mr. Jenkins continued, addressing the whole room now. This is unfortunate for everyone. Unfortunate? Ethan's voice cut through the silence. That's what we're calling a violation of privacy now? Mr. Cole, please. No. Ethan stepped forward. Someone stalked us, invaded a private moment, spread it online to damage both our reputations. And you're calling it unfortunate? What I'm calling it, Mr. Jenkins said firmly, is a violation of company policy. Your policy, Mr. Cole. The one you implemented. The one you've enforced. The one you yourself just broke. The room went silent. Ethan looked at Maya. Something passed between them. An apology, a question, a promise. You're right, he said quietly. I broke my own rule, and I'd do it again. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Mr. Cole, Jennifer started. Maya Bennett is the most competent, professional, dedicated person I've ever worked with. What happened between us last night had nothing to do with work. It had everything to do with the fact that she's also kind, honest, and brave. And he took a breath. I care about her more than I should, probably. More than is convenient, but I won't apologize for it. Maya's eyes burned. She wanted to run to him, wanted to say she felt the same way, but her feet stayed frozen. That's very touching, Mr. Jenkins said, not unkindly. But it doesn't change the facts. You implemented this policy for a reason. You've terminated employees for violating it. If we make an exception for you, what message does that send? That people matter more than policies? Or that rules don't apply to those at the top? Ethan had no answer for that. Mr. Jenkins turned to Maya. Miss Bennett, pending a formal review by the board, you're suspended again, effective immediately. No, Ethan's voice was sharp. If you suspend her, you suspend me too. Mr. Cole, you're the CEO. I don't care. We're both guilty of the same thing. We both get the same consequence. It's not that simple. It should be. Ethan looked around the room at his employees, his company, everything he'd built. Maya deserves better than this, better than me, but she's stuck with what happened, and I'll be damned if I let her face it alone. Maya's heart cracked open. He was willing to risk everything for her. Ethan, she said softly, don't. He turned to her. Don't what? Don't throw away everything you've built. Not for me. You think the company is all I've built? His voice was rough with emotion. Maya, I built walls, I built control. I built a life where nothing could hurt me, because I never let anyone in, and I was miserable. He stepped closer. You tore those walls down. You made me feel human again. You made me remember what it's like to care about someone more than a profit margin. Tears slid down Maya's cheeks. She didn't wipe them away. So, no, Ethan continued. I won't watch you get punished for something we both did. I won't stand by while people judge you for my choices. If the board wants to fire someone, they can fire me. The room erupted in whispers. Mr. Jenkins raised a hand for silence. This is highly irregular. Good. I'm tired of regular. Ethan pulled off his company badge and set it on the table. Effective immediately. I resign as CEO of Cole Design Group. The board can appoint an interim replacement. I'll stay on to consult during the transition, but I will not lead a company that punishes honesty and vulnerability. Mr. Cole, you're being rash. I'm being clear. For the first time in 5 years, I'm being completely clear about what matters. He looked at Maya. And she matters. More than this company. More than my reputation. More than any policy I ever wrote. Maya couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. The room spun. I need air, she whispered. She pushed through the crowd and ran outside. The morning was cold and bright. Her breath came in gasps. She made it to the dock before her legs gave out. Footsteps behind her. She knew who it was without turning. Maya, you can't quit. She spun around. Ethan stood there, hands in his pockets, looking more uncertain than she'd ever seen him. You built that company from nothing. You can't just walk away. I'm not walking away from what matters. But it does matter. Cole Design is your legacy, your life's work. It was. He sat down beside her on the dock. Past tense. But things change. Because of me. Because of us. He took her hand. His palm was warm. Maya, I spent 5 years building something safe, something I could control, but I was never happy, not really. I was just protected. And now? Now I'm terrified. He smiled a little. But I'm alive. Because of you. A boat went by in the distance, leaving ripples across the lake. I don't want you to quit, Maya said quietly. I don't want to be the reason you lose everything. You're not taking anything from me. You're giving me something back." He squeezed her hand. "A reason to care. A reason to try. A reason to be more than just a CEO hiding behind policies. But what about me? I'm suspended again. Probably fired. My reputation is fixable." Ethan's voice was firm. "I'm going to find out who took that photo. I'm going to prove Oliver is behind this, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows the truth. And if you can't, then we start over, together." He lifted her hand to his lips and kissed her knuckles. "If you'll have me." Maya looked at him. This man who'd risked everything, who'd chosen her over comfort and safety. This man who'd finally let his walls come down. "Ethan Cole," she said, half laughing, half crying. "You are the most stubborn, reckless, wonderful person I've ever met. Is that a yes?" "It's a we're in so much trouble." "I'll take it." He pulled her close, and she let herself lean into him. Let herself believe, just for a moment, that maybe love could win against all the noise and judgment and fear. Behind them, the lake house windows were full of faces. Watching, witnessing. Maya didn't care anymore. Let them watch. The drive back to Chicago was silent. Maya rode alone, having declined Ethan's offer to drive together. She needed time to think, to process, to figure out what came next. Her phone buzzed constantly. Texts from Renee, calls from unknown numbers, notifications from social media. She turned it off. By the time she got home Sunday evening, she was exhausted. Emotionally, physically, completely. Renee took one look at her and pulled her into a hug. "I saw," Renee said, "all of it. The photo, the news about Ethan quitting. It's everywhere. I ruined his life. Girl, no, he chose this, he chose you. But what if I'm not worth it?" Renee pulled back and held Maya's shoulders. "Listen to me. You are the smartest, strongest, kindest person I know. You survived lies and accusations and public humiliation. You rebuilt yourself. You didn't let them break you." She shook Maya gently. "You are absolutely worth it. And any man who sees that, who risks everything to stand beside you, he's worth it too." Maya wanted to believe her. God, she wanted to believe. "What do I do now?" she whispered. "You rest. You breathe. And tomorrow you figure out the next step." But sleep didn't come easy. Maya lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. The kiss, the photo, Ethan's resignation, his words, "She matters, more than this company." Around midnight, her phone buzzed. She'd turned it back on to set an alarm. A text from Ethan. "Can't sleep, thinking about you, about us, about tomorrow. Scared but not sorry. Never sorry." Maya typed back, "Me neither. Scared or sorry." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Whatever happens, we face it together. You're not alone in this." She held the phone to her chest, closed her eyes, and finally fell asleep. Monday morning arrived like a storm. Maya woke to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. She scrolled through them, heart sinking with each one. News outlets had picked up the story. CEO resigns after breaking company romance policy. Love or liability? Inside the Cole design scandal. Black assistant at center of Chicago CEO's downfall. That last headline made her sick. "Don't read the comments," Renee warned over breakfast. "Seriously, don't." But Maya couldn't help it. She opened Twitter. Of course she's playing the victim again. She destroyed one company, now she's destroying another. Gold digger found her payday. Why do powerful men always fall for the same tricks? Maya's hands shook so badly she dropped her phone. It clattered on the kitchen table. "Hey," Renee grabbed her hands. "Those people don't know you. They don't know what really happened. They're just noise. Noise that everyone's listening to. Not everyone. The people who matter, they know the truth." Maya's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. "Hello? Miss Bennett. It's Alexander Jenkins, the senior board member." Maya's stomach dropped. "Mr. Jenkins, I need you to come to the office this morning. There's been a development." "What kind of development?" "The kind we need to discuss in person. Can you be here by 10? Maya checked the clock. It was 8:30. "I'll be there." She hung up and looked at Renee. "I have to go to the office. Want me to come with?" "No, I need to do this myself." But as Maya got dressed, choosing her armor again, black slacks, white blouse, hair pulled back, she felt different than last time. Last time she'd been scared, defeated. This time she was angry. Angry at Oliver for targeting her. Angry at the board for caring more about optics than truth. Angry at a world that punished vulnerability and called it professionalism. She arrived at Cole Design Group at 9:45. The lobby felt different, colder, or maybe that was just her. The elevator ride up felt longer than usual, each floor a reminder of everything she'd gained and lost here. Friendship, purpose, love. Mr. Jenkins's office door was open. Inside sat Jennifer, two other board members Maya vaguely recognized, and Ethan. He stood when she entered. Their eyes met. He looked tired but determined. "Miss Bennett," Mr. Jenkins said, "thank you for coming. Please sit." Maya sat. Ethan remained standing. "We've spent the last 24 hours investigating the circumstances around the photograph," Mr. Jenkins began. "We've traced the original post to an anonymous account. That account was funded through a shell company, and that shell company," he paused, "is owned by Oliver Cole." Maya's breath caught. "We also found evidence," Jennifer added, "that Oliver Cole hired a private investigator to follow you and Mr. Cole. The photographer who took the picture has come forward with a statement. He's willing to testify that he was paid by Oliver to surveil you both and capture compromising images." "So this was all a setup," Maya said, "from the beginning." "It appears so. Oliver's intention was to damage both your reputation and his brother's position within the company." Mr. Jenkins folded his hands. What he didn't anticipate was Mr. Cole's reaction. All eyes turned to Ethan. "I meant what I said," Ethan said firmly. "I resign, effective immediately. Mr. Cole, I'm done. I'm done with policies that value appearance over honesty. I'm done leading people while pretending I don't have a heart. I'm done sacrificing my humanity for profitability." He looked at Maya. "And I'm done watching people I care about get hurt because I'm too afraid to stand up." Silence filled the room. Then Mr. Jenkins did something unexpected. He smiled. "Good," the older man said. "That's exactly what I wanted to hear." Ethan blinked. "What? 30 years I've worked in this industry. I've seen a lot of CEOs. Most of them care more about stock prices than people, more about reputation than truth." He stood up slowly. "But you, Mr. Cole, you just proved you're not one of them. I don't understand." "The board met last night. Emergency session. We reviewed everything, the evidence, the timeline, Mr. Oliver Cole's involvement, and we made some decisions." He looked at Maya. "First, Miss Bennett, you're fully reinstated, with back pay, a formal apology, and a promotion. We'd like to offer you the position of Director of Communications." Maya's jaw dropped. "Director of... Your skills are wasted as an assistant. We need someone who understands integrity, someone who won't back down when things get hard." He turned to Ethan. "Second, Mr. Cole, we're denying your resignation. You can't deny a resignation. We can if it's not in the company's best interest, which it isn't." Mr. Jenkins walked to the window overlooking the city. "You built something special here. Not just a profitable company, but a place where people want to work, where creativity matters, where quality beats speed. Losing you would destroy that. But I broke the policy. A policy you wrote when you were hurt and scared and protecting yourself from being vulnerable." Mr. Jenkins turned back. "I've watched you for 5 years, Ethan. Watched you turn into someone closed off and unreachable. These last few months, since Maya started, you've been different, better, more human." Ethan said nothing. "The board voted," another board member said. "We're amending the workplace relationship policy. No more blanket bans. Instead, we'll require disclosure and reassignment when necessary to avoid conflicts of interest. We're also implementing stronger protections against harassment and privacy violations." "So, we're not fired," Maya said slowly. "You were never going to be fired, Mr. Jenkins said. "Not after we learned the truth, but we needed to see where your priorities were, both of you." He looked between them. "You passed." Ethan sat down heavily. "I don't know what to say. Say you'll stay. Say you'll keep building this company with honesty and integrity. Say you'll stop hiding behind walls." Mr. Jenkins's voice was gentle. "And say you'll let yourself be happy. Life's too short for anything less." Maya felt tears building. This was real. This was happening. They weren't losing their jobs. They weren't losing each other. "There's one more thing," Jennifer said. She pulled out a document. "We need you both to sign this. It's a disclosure form. It states that you're in a relationship, that it won't affect workplace performance, and that you'll maintain professional boundaries during work hours." "And if we can't," Ethan asked, "then we'll figure it out. Together." Mr. Jenkins smiled. "That's what good companies do. They adapt. They trust their people. They make room for humanity." Maya and Ethan looked at each other. A silent conversation passed between them. "Are you sure? Are we really doing this? Can we make this work?" Yes, yes, yes. They signed the document. Welcome back, Mr. Jenkins said. Both of you. The rest of Monday passed in a blur. Maya returned to her desk to find flowers waiting. 24 roses with a card. For having the courage I didn't know I needed. People stopped by to congratulate her on the promotion. Some apologized for believing the rumors. Some just smiled and welcomed her back. Around 3 p.m., Ethan appeared at her desk. "Director Bennett," he said formally. "Do you have a moment?" "For you, Mr. Cole, always." They walked to his office. He closed the door, and then he kissed her, long and slow and perfect. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "We should probably not do that at work," Maya said. "Probably not." He kissed her again. "But I've spent 5 years following rules that made me miserable. I think I'm done with that." "Ethan, I know. Professional boundaries. During work hours, I heard." He tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "But it's 3 p.m. on a Monday. I just got my life back and you look beautiful. So excuse me for taking a moment." Maya laughed. Actually laughed. When was the last time she'd felt this light? "You're impossible. I prefer persistent." He rested his forehead against hers. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not giving up. On me. On us. On the possibility that maybe, just maybe, we could make this work. We still have to figure out a lot of things. I know. What it means to date your boss. How to separate work from personal life. How to deal with gossip and judgment and Oliver's inevitable next attempt to sabotage us. You really know how to sell a relationship. What can I say? I'm a romantic." He pulled back, suddenly serious. "But Maya, I want you to know I'm all in. Whatever comes next, whatever challenges we face, I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm staying right here with you, figuring it out together." Maya's heart swelled. Together. I like that word. Me too. A knock on the door made them jump apart. Jennifer poked her head in. "Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Cole, your mother is on line 3. She says it's urgent." Ethan's face went pale. "My mother." "She saw the news," Jennifer said gently. "About everything." He looked at Maya. "I should take this." "Of course. Go." Maya left his office and returned to her desk, but she couldn't focus on work. She kept thinking about Ethan's family, his estranged brother, his mother who longed for reconciliation, all the old wounds that still needed healing. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. "Dinner tonight. My mother wants to meet you." Maya's stomach flipped. "Tonight? That's fast." "I know, but she's insisting. Says it's time the family met the woman who woke up her son." Her words, not mine. Maya smiled despite her nerves. "Okay. What time?" 7. "I'll pick you up. It's a date. The first of many." Maya set down her phone and took a deep breath. Meeting the family. This was real. This was serious. This was terrifying. But maybe, just maybe, it was also exactly what they both needed. Ethan picked Maya up at 6:30. He wore dark jeans and a navy sweater, casual for him. His hair was slightly messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. "Nervous?" Maya asked as she got in his car. "Terrified." He pulled away from the curb. "My mother can be intense." "Good intense or bad intense?" "Both. She's loving and generous, but she doesn't hold back. If she thinks something, she says it." He glanced over. "Fair warning, she's going to ask you a million questions. About us. About everything. Your family, your childhood, your dreams, your favorite color. She believes you can know someone's heart by the little details." Maya smoothed down her dress. Simple black, appropriate for meeting a boyfriend's mother. Boyfriend? Was that what Ethan was now? They hadn't actually defined it. "What did you tell her?" Maya asked. "About us?" "The truth. That I met someone who changed everything. That I'm happier than I've been in years. That I'm falling." He stopped, cleared his throat. "That I care about you. A lot." Maya's heart skipped. He'd almost said falling in love. Almost. They drove north to Evanston, where old money lived in big houses with manicured lawns. Ethan pulled into a circular driveway. The house was beautiful, brick and ivy, glowing warm windows, a wraparound porch. "This is where you grew up?" "Yeah, me and Oliver, a lifetime ago." They walked to the front door. Before Ethan could knock, it swung open. A woman in her mid-50s stood there, silver streaking through her dark hair, bright blue eyes. Ethan's eyes. She wore a simple cardigan and jeans, barefoot, smiling wide. "Ethan," she pulled him into a hug. "My boy, I'm so glad you're here." "Hi, Mum." She released him and turned to Maya. Her smile grew warmer. "And you must be Maya. I've heard so much about you. All good things, I hope. All honest things, which is better." She took Maya's hands. Her grip was firm and warm. "I'm Catherine, but please call me Kate. Come in, dinner's almost ready." The house smelled like roasted chicken and fresh bread. Family photos lined the hallway, young Ethan and Oliver at various ages, always together, always smiling. Maya's chest tightened. They'd been so close once. The dining room table was set for 4. 4, Ethan said. Kate turned, hands on hips. "Yes, 4. Your brother is coming." "Mom, no arguments. Oliver needs to be here. You both need to talk." "Really talk, and I'm not getting any younger, so we're doing this tonight." Ethan looked at Maya, panic in his eyes. She squeezed his hand. "It's okay. We can do this." The doorbell rang. Kate went to answer it. Voices in the hallway. Hers, warm and welcoming. Another, male and hesitant. Oliver walked in. He was taller than Ethan, broader through the shoulders. Same dark hair, but his was longer, wilder. Same blue eyes, but harder. Guarded. He stopped when he saw Maya. "You brought her." "Oliver?" Kate said sharply, "at manners." "It's fine," Maya said, finding her voice. "I know this is awkward." "Awkward?" Oliver laughed without humor. "That's one word for it." "Sit," Kate commanded. "All of you, now." They sat. Kate brought out food. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, fresh rolls. Comfort food. The kind of meal meant for healing. For a few minutes no one spoke. Just the sound of forks on plates. The ticking of a grandfather clock in the corner. Finally Kate set down her fork. "Enough, we're going to talk about this." "Mom," both brothers said at once. "No. You two have been avoiding each other for 5 years. 5 years of holidays alone. 5 years of birthdays without calls. 5 years of holding on to hurt like it's a prize." Her voice cracked. "Your father would be ashamed." Oliver flinched. Ethan went very still. "Dad left the company to Ethan," Oliver said quietly. "That was his choice. His clear choice." "Because Ethan was ready," Kate said gently. "Not because he loved you less. Felt like it." "I know." Kate reached across the table and took Oliver's hand. Then Ethan's. "But your father's decision doesn't have to define the rest of your lives. Your brothers, your blood. You're supposed to be each other's greatest ally, not each other's enemy." Silence. Then Oliver looked at Maya. "I'm sorry." Maya blinked. "What?" "For the emails, the photos, the harassment." He swallowed hard. "I was angry at Ethan. I wanted to hurt him the way he hurt me, but I never considered that I was destroying an innocent person's life in the process. That was wrong, cruel. I'm sorry." Maya didn't know what to say. This man had tried to ruin her, had dug up her past and weaponized it, had invaded her privacy and spread lies. But he looked genuinely remorseful, broken even. "Why?" she asked. "Why target me specifically?" "Because Ethan cared about you. I could see it in the way he looked at you, talked about you. I hadn't seen him care about anything, anyone in years, and I was jealous." Oliver's voice was rough. "Jealous that he had someone when I had no one. Jealous that he could move on when I was still stuck in the past." "That's not Maya's fault," Ethan said firmly. "I know." Oliver looked at his brother. "None of this is her fault. It's mine, and yours, and Dad's for putting us in this position. But mostly mine, for letting bitterness turn me into someone I don't recognize." Kate wiped her eyes with a napkin. "That's the first honest thing you've said in 5 years." Oliver laughed a little. "Yeah, well, rock bottom has a way of making you see clearly." Ethan stared at his plate. His jaw worked like he was trying to find words. "I'm sorry too," he finally said, "for not reaching out, for letting the silence grow, for being so caught up in proving I deserved the company that I forgot what actually mattered, which is family, connection, the fact that no amount of success means anything if you're alone." Oliver's eyes were bright. "When did you get so wise?" "When I met someone who wasn't afraid to call me out." Ethan glanced at Maya. "She has a way of making walls feel stupid." Maya felt heat in her cheeks. "I didn't do anything." "You did everything." Ethan turned back to Oliver. "I don't expect us to fix 5 years in one night. I don't expect you to forgive me or forget what happened, but I want to try, if you're willing." Oliver looked at his brother for a long moment. Then he extended his hand across the table. "I'm willing." Ethan shook it. The grip held. Neither let go. Kate sniffled loudly. Finally, "My boys. Together again." Maya felt tears building. This was what healing looked like. Messy and uncomfortable and brave. Two people choosing to reach across old wounds and try again. They finished dinner with lighter conversation. Kate told stories about the brothers as children, building forts, breaking windows, getting into trouble together. Oliver and Ethan traded memories, laughing at things long forgotten. Maya watched them, her heart full. This was why she'd fallen for Ethan, not the CEO in the perfect suit. But this man, the one who could admit he was wrong, who could reach out despite fear, who could choose love over pride. After dinner, Kate pulled Maya aside while the brothers washed dishes. "Walk with me?" They stepped out onto the back porch. The night air was cool and smelled like autumn leaves. "Thank you," Kate said. "For what?" "For waking him up. My Ethan. He's been sleepwalking for years, going through motions, building walls. I watched him turn into someone cold and closed off, and I couldn't reach him." She looked at Maya. "But you did. You reminded him what it means to be alive. He did the same for me," Maya said softly. "I was so scared when I started working there, scared of being hurt again, of people finding out about my past, of never being trusted." She smiled. "But Ethan believed me, even when no one else did. He fought for me. He loves you." The words hung in the air. Simple. True. "He hasn't said it," Maya whispered. "He will when he's ready, when he's not terrified that saying it out loud will somehow break the spell." Kate squeezed Maya's hand. "But I can see it. A mother always can. The way he looks at you, talks about you, lights up when you enter a room. That's love. Real, genuine, willing to sacrifice everything love." Maya's eyes burned. "I love him too." "I know, sweetheart. I know." Inside, the brothers' laughter rang out. Something crashed. More laughter. Kate sighed. "They're going to break something, probably. Want to go referee? Let them have this moment. They've earned it." They stood on the porch in comfortable silence, two women watching the night sky, both holding on to hope. Later, Ethan drove Maya home. They were quiet for most of the drive, but it was a good quiet, comfortable, peaceful. "Your mum is wonderful," Maya said. "She likes you." "How can you tell?" "She made her famous apple pie for dessert. She only does that for people she plans to keep around." He smiled. "Also, she cornered me in the kitchen and told me if I let you go, she'd disown me." Maya laughed. "She did not. She absolutely did. Direct quote, 'That girl is a gift. Don't be stupid.' Wise woman. The wisest." He pulled up in front of Maya's apartment, cut the engine, turned to face her. "Thank you for tonight, for coming, for being there when Oliver showed up, for not running when things got intense. Where would I run to? You're kind of stuck with me now. Promise?" "Promise." He leaned over and kissed her, soft and slow, the kind of kiss that said, "I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere." When they pulled apart, Ethan rested his forehead against hers. "I'm falling in love with you," he whispered, in case that wasn't obvious. Maya's heart stopped, started again, faster. "Just falling," she whispered back, "because I'm already there." He pulled back to look at her. His eyes searched hers. "Yeah?" "Yeah, completely, terrifyingly, absolutely in love with you." The smile that spread across his face was the most beautiful thing Maya had ever seen. Pure joy. No walls, no control, just happiness. "Say it again," he said. "I love you." Again. "I love you, Ethan Cole." He kissed her again, deeper this time, with all the emotion he'd been holding back. They stayed in his car until midnight, talking and kissing and making plans. About work and boundaries, and how to navigate dating while being in different positions. About meeting each other's friends. About slow and steady and not rushing into anything too fast, but also about the future, about possibilities, about what it might look like to build something real together. When Maya finally went inside, Renee was waiting on the couch, eating popcorn. "So?" Renee demanded. "How'd it go?" Maya flopped down beside her. "I met his mom and his brother, the one who tried to destroy my life." "Girl, what?" Maya told her everything, the dinner, the apology, the reconciliation, the confession of love. Renee grabbed her shoulders. "He said he loves you? He said he's falling in love with me." "Same thing." "What did you say?" "That I already fell." Renee squealed. Actual squealed. "This is it. This is your happy ending. It's not an ending, it's a beginning." "Even better." Renee pulled her into a hug. "I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. All of it." Maya hugged her back. "Thank you. For everything. For being there when I was falling apart. For telling me not to give up. For believing in me. Always, girl. Always." The next few weeks passed in a blur of work and stolen moments. Maya threw herself into her new role as Director of Communications. She revamped the company's social media presence, pitched new marketing strategies, and started a monthly newsletter highlighting employee achievements. She and Ethan maintained strict professionalism during work hours, separate meetings, no closed-door sessions alone, everything transparent and above board. But after work, that was theirs. They had dinner dates at quiet restaurants, movie nights at his apartment, long walks along the lake, simple things, normal things, things that felt like building a foundation. The office gossip eventually died down. People got used to seeing them together. Some even seemed happy about it. "So you're good for him," Mr. Jenkins told Maya one afternoon. "He smiles now, actually smiles, didn't know the man's face could do that." 3 weeks after the dinner at Kate's house, Ethan called a company-wide meeting. Everyone gathered in the main conference room. Curious faces, uncertain energy. Ethan stood at the front, Maya beside him. They'd planned this together. "Thank you all for coming," Ethan began. "I want to address the policy change directly. No more rumors, no more whispers, just facts." He pulled up a slide on the projector. New policy: workplace relationships, disclosure required, not permission. Trust over control, people over perfection. "I implemented the old policy 5 years ago," Ethan continued, "because I was scared. Scared of being hurt, scared of losing control, scared of appearing unprofessional. But fear is a terrible foundation for a company culture." He looked at Maya. She nodded encouragement. "The truth is, we spend most of our waking hours at work. We build friendships here, we find mentors, we create connections. Sometimes those connections become something more, and that's not a problem. It's human." A few people nodded. Others leaned forward, listening. "So effective immediately, here's the new policy. If 2 employees start a relationship, they must disclose it to HR. If there's a power imbalance, we'll work together to reassign reporting structures. If problems arise, we'll address them with respect and transparency, but we will not punish people for being human." Applause started slowly, then built. Soon the whole room was clapping. Ethan waited for quiet. "One more thing. I want to publicly thank Maya Bennett for teaching me that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. That trust isn't naive, it's necessary. And that love doesn't destroy professionalism, it humanizes it." More applause, louder this time. Maya felt tears building but held them back. This moment, this public acknowledgement, meant everything. After the meeting, people congratulated them. Some shared their own stories of office romances. Others just smiled and said they were rooting for them. Danielle approached, looking sheepish. "I owe you an apology, a real one. I was jealous and petty, and I said terrible things. I'm sorry." "Thank you," Maya said. "I appreciate that. For what it's worth, you two are disgustingly cute together." Maya laughed. "I'll take it." A month later, Ethan invited Maya to the lake house again. Just the two of them this time. They drove up on a Friday afternoon. Autumn leaves blazing red and gold. The air was crisp and clean. Perfect. The lake house looked different in daylight, less intimidating, more welcoming. They spent Saturday morning hiking around the property. Ethan showed her the trails he'd explored as a kid, the secret fort he and Oliver had built, the tree where he'd carved his initials at age 10. "You were a vandal," Maya teased. "I was creative. Is that what we're calling it?" They had lunch on the deck, sandwiches and lemonade. Simple, perfect. "Can I tell you something?" Ethan said. "Always. This place used to make me sad. Too many memories of what I'd lost. But now," he looked at her, "now it feels like a place where I can build new memories, better ones, with you." Maya's heart swelled. "I'd like that." That evening they built a fire in the big stone fireplace, curled up on the couch together, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her waist. "Maya? I know we said we'd take things slow, not rush into anything." "Uh-huh. And I know it's only been a few months since we met." She sat up, turning to face him. "Ethan, what are you trying to say?" He took her hands. "I'm saying that I've spent 5 years being careful, being controlled, being safe. And I'm done with that. I'm done waiting for the perfect moment or the right timing or some magical sign that says it's okay to want what I want. Which is you, a future with you, a life with you." He squeezed her hands. "I'm not asking you to marry me, not yet, but I'm asking if you can see that, eventually, us, together, building something that lasts." Maya's eyes filled with tears, happy tears, overwhelming, beautiful tears. "Yes," she whispered, "I can see it. I want it. Yeah? Yeah. You and me, together, for as long as you'll have me." He pulled her close and kissed her, long and slow and full of promise. Outside, the lake reflected moonlight like scattered diamonds. Inside, Two people who'd been broken and scared and guarded finally let themselves believe in something beautiful. Hope, trust, love, the real kind, the hard kind, the kind that required vulnerability and risk and choosing each other every single day. But they were ready. Finally, completely ready. 6 months later, Maya stood in front of her bathroom mirror adjusting her dress. It was a simple ceremony, just family and close friends at Kate's house in Evanston. "You ready?" Renee asked from the doorway. She wore a lavender bridesmaid dress and looked beautiful. "I'm ready." "No nerves?" "Terrified, but the good kind of terrified." Renee grinned. "That's how you know it's right." They drove to the house together. White chairs lined the back garden. String lights hung from trees. It looked like something from a magazine. Kate rushed over when Maya arrived. "You look stunning, absolutely stunning. Thank you for letting us do this here." "Are you kidding? I'm thrilled. I finally get to keep you in the family officially." Oliver appeared, wearing a suit and a genuine smile. "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" Maya nodded. They stepped aside. "I just wanted to say thank you," Oliver said, "for giving me a second chance, for not holding grudges, for helping Ethan and me find our way back to each other. You did that yourselves. Maybe, but you made it possible." He pulled out a small box. "This was our grandmother's. She gave it to me before she died, told me to give it to someone worthy. I never found that person, but Ethan did." He opened the box, a delicate silver bracelet. "For you. Welcome to the family." Maya's eyes burned. "Oliver, just take it, please, before I get emotional and ruin my tough guy image." She hugged him. He hugged her back. Music started playing. Time to begin. Maya walked down the makeshift aisle, Renee beside her. Faces turned, friends from work, Kate beaming, Mr. Jenkins dabbing his eyes with a handkerchief. And at the end, standing under an arch of flowers, stood Ethan. He wore a grey suit. His hair was perfect, but his eyes were full of tears and love and pure joy. When Maya reached him, he took her hands. "Hi," he whispered. "Hi yourself." The ceremony was short and sweet. They'd written their own vows. Ethan went first. "Maya Bennett, you walked into my office 6 months ago and changed everything. You taught me that control is an illusion, that vulnerability is strength, that love isn't a distraction. It's the whole point." His voice cracked. "You tore down my walls and showed me what life could be when I stopped being afraid. I promise to spend every day earning the trust you've given me, to fight for us, to choose you, always." Maya wiped her eyes. "Ethan Cole, you believed me when no one else did. You fought for me when I was ready to give up. You showed me that trust isn't naive. It's brave." She smiled through tears. "You're my best friend, my partner, my home. I promise to love you through the easy days and the hard ones, to remind you to smile, to drag you away from your desk when you work too late, to build a life with you that's messy and real and absolutely beautiful." They exchanged rings, simple bands, solid, lasting. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the officiant said. "You may kiss." Ethan pulled her close and kissed her. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers. When they pulled apart, both were grinning like idiots. "Mrs. Cole," Ethan said. "Mr. Bennett Cole," Maya corrected. "We talked about this." "Right, Mr. Bennett Cole." He kissed her again. I liked the sound of that. The reception was perfect. Dancing and laughter and toasts that were both funny and touching. Oliver gave a speech about brotherhood and second chances. Renee gave a speech about finding real love in unexpected places. Kate cried through her entire speech, but managed to say that she'd gained a daughter and couldn't be happier. As the sun set, Maya and Ethan snuck away to the dock. They sat with their feet dangling over the water, hands intertwined. "So," Ethan said, "we're married." "Yep, that's pretty permanent. That's the idea." "Good." He pulled her close. "Because I'm not going anywhere, ever." Maya rested her head on his shoulder. "You know what's funny?" "What?" 6 months ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd never trust anyone again, never risk my heart again, never believe that good things could happen to people like me. And now? Now I know that good things don't just happen. You build them. One honest conversation at a time, one brave choice at a time, one day of choosing each other at a time. That's pretty wise, Mrs. Bennett Cole. I learned from the best. They sat there as the sky turned purple and pink, as stars began to appear, as their families and friends celebrated behind them. Two people who'd been broken and scared had found each other, had chosen vulnerability over protection, had built something real and lasting and beautiful, And this time, finally, the Memo was dead, buried with all the fear and control and walls that kept people apart. In its place, something better. Love, trust, hope. The real kind, the messy, brave, absolutely terrifying kind that changes everything. And they were ready for all of it. Together. Maya stood in the nursery, putting the final touches on the yellow walls. Neutral colors. They'd decided to be surprised. "You're supposed to be resting," Ethan said from the doorway. "I'm painting, not running a marathon." The doctor said light activity is fine." She set down the paintbrush and turned to him. "Stop worrying. Can't help it. That's my family in there." He placed a hand on her swollen belly. "Both of you." The baby kicked. They both laughed. "Someone's feisty," Maya said. "Gets it from you." "Definitely from you." Ethan pulled her close, carefully, gently. "I can't believe this is our life." "Believe it." CEO of a thriving company, married to an amazing woman, baby on the way. A year ago, I was eating takeout alone in my office, convinced walls were safer than people. And now I know better. Now I know that walls keep you safe, but they also keep you alone. And I'd rather risk everything for this, he gestured around the nursery, then to her belly, than have all the safety in the world. Maya kissed him. "Good answer." Her phone buzzed. A text from Renee. "Emergency. Need you. Now." Maya's heart jumped. "Renee needs me. Go, I'll finish painting." "You sure?" "Go. Take care of your friend." Maya drove to Renee's apartment, mind racing with worst-case scenarios. But when she arrived, Renee was smiling. "Emergency?" Maya demanded. "Yeah, look at this." Renee held up her phone. A text from a guy she'd been dating. "I think I'm falling for you." "Is that crazy?" Maya laughed. "You called me away from nursery prep for this? This is important. What do I say?" "The truth, that you're falling too, that it's not crazy, that sometimes the best things are the scariest things." Renee typed back, hit send, then looked at Maya. "When did you get so wise?" "When I stopped running from good things because I was scared of losing them." "Fair." Renee hugged her. "Thank you for everything, for being my best friend, for showing me that happy endings are real." "They're not endings," Maya said. "They're beginnings." That evening, Maya and Ethan sat on their back porch, watching the Chicago skyline light up. She leaned against him, his arms around her, both hands on her belly. "You know what I was thinking," Maya said. About that first day, when I walked into your office terrified and determined, when you looked at me like I was a problem to solve. I never—" "You did, and it was okay. We both had walls." She smiled. "But look at us now. Look at us now," he repeated softly. Inside, their home waited, full of warmth and light and promise. Outside, the city buzzed with life, and between them, a baby grew, a future taking shape. Maya thought about everything that had brought them here. The fear and doubt, the gossip and judgment, the choice to be vulnerable anyway, the decision to trust despite past wounds. None of it had been easy, but all of it had been worth it, because love, real love, wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, being honest, choosing each other even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. "Ethan." "Yeah? I love you. I love you too." He kissed the top of her head. "Always. Always." They sat there until the stars came out. Two people who'd been broken and scared and guarded. Two people who'd taken the biggest risk of their lives and found something extraordinary. Each other. And every day after that they chose it again. Chose vulnerability. Chose trust. Chose love. The real kind. The messy, brave, absolutely terrifying kind that changes everything. And they lived it. Not perfectly, but honestly. Not easily, but fully. Together. Always together. The end.